The view behind me here is actually insanely beautiful, but this way, so in front of me. But if I talk this way, I think the light will be very bad. Better to have the sun in the face. My name is Mathias Pettersen. I'm a Norwegian guy who's almost been living 4 years on Lombok. And yes, I've tried to explore as much as possible on this island. So in this edit, I will give you my best tips for what you should do if you visit Lombok for a couple of days, or for a week, or for 2 weeks. There's so much to do in this area. But I'm in the middle of packing down my tent. You can see my morning first, and then we jump into the tips a little bit later in this edit, because I've been having an epic morning in this spot.
After 2 steps, I lost
morning.
my balance.
Have you ever pictured something in your head and that's like, this is going to be sick, and then it's still going to be sick, yeah? Being here, feeling the wind, hearing the birds is amazing. A couple of days ago, I was further down in this valley and I shot this footage. Then the dream started, like imagining sleeping up there in a tent and then having that sunrise afterwards. That will be insanely nice. So I decided to do it. But this is not the same kind of sunrise, yeah, like we had the other day. Even though it's not the sunrise that I was like picturing in my head, it's still super nice, yeah, to be outside here, feel the wind, hear the birds and the eagle. Oh, so nice. Really embracing the time I have to do this now, because with the third kid there will not be much time to flying drones and stuff, yeah. A little bit, of course, have to fly a little bit. You might understood it, yeah, during these days that I'm uploading every single day, that I'm actually trying to maximize every single hour I have. It's so much fun. The only struggle I have is the signal. Yeah, the moment I get behind something, it cuts right away. That limits the potential this drone has. Time to pack down my little setup here. Even though it didn't turn out to be the way I was hoping it to be and the picture I had in my head, it was still marvelous to have the wind, the birds singing. That's life in general, you know. It doesn't always turn out the way you want it to be or the way you picture it, but it's usually quite okay anyway. Like today, I pictured something, didn't turn out the way I was hoping, but it was still an amazing morning, an amazing sunrise. And also actually quite often I think it gets even better than when you picture it in your head. At first you get bummed because this was not how I pictured it, but then eventually when you look back at something, you're like, it was actually better than I pictured it. we made it back. Breakfast. My first tip of the day would be actually to, if you visit Lombok, to grab breakfast at a place called Anchor Bed and Bread. You can also stay here, it's an accommodation. Like I said, I've been living on this island for almost 4 years. I've been lucky, I've been able to see a lot of things from underwater to high up on the mountain, up in the air. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the hottest tips I have if you want to visit Lombok in summer 2022 or whenever you see this edit and whenever you want to visit Lombok. We're starting off with the first and most popular place to visit Lombok, which is the Gili Islands. Gili Travangan, Gili Meno, Gili Air. And for you that didn't know, yes, it's a part of Lombok. It's not a part of Bali. Those islands belongs to Lombok. And it's only 20 minutes boat ride from Lombok. A lot of the people coming to Lombok, they come via Bali. So they've been to Bali first and then they want to go to Lombok. And they usually go to the Gili Islands. A lot of people just go to the Gili Islands and then back to Bali, but that is for sure a great place to be. A lot of good restaurants, the underwater life, it's amazing. Like you can see in the footage here, it's just it's so beautiful. Sunrises, sunsets. For you who loves party and stuff, there's a lot of it, maybe too much in my opinion, but a lot of options in that also. But I will highly recommend you. I met people that have been to the Gili Islands for a week and they only did party. They didn't actually explore the underwater life or things around on the island. So I would highly recommend you to do something else than just party if you visit Gili. My second tips, and now we go into the mainland of Lombok. Yeah, so if you push it a little bit further, then you leave the Gili Islands and not going back to Bali, but you go to Lombok. I will highly recommend you to do Rinjani. Please.
Bagus.
Bagus.
Oh, that was nice.
This is absolutely insane. You can do 1 night and 2 days trip, or you can do 2 nights and 3 days trips. You can even stay more if you want to, but I would say in 3 days you see everything. Yeah, you get to walk on the top, down in the crater on the lake, and then up on the other side. It's amazing. I've been up on the Rinjani 4 times and it's still the best thing I've done on Lombok. So if there's one thing you should do on Lombok, this is the one. Hike Rinjani. It's insanely beautiful. The whole experience, and the thing is quite hard. It's a tough trip. And that makes it even better, kind of, because when you get the reward, it's so breathtaking. Other things around the northern part of Lombok, around Rinjani, you have several waterfalls. One of them is Tiukalap waterfall. It's the most beautiful morning. It's the most beautiful waterfall you have in Lombok. So there are several waterfalls in Lombok, all of them are nice, but this is the best. So if you want to hike waterfall, this is the one you do. So after you finish the northern part, it's time to start on the road to the south. I will recommend you to do the coastline, passing through Sengigi. It's so beautiful to drive there among the side of the oceans, and you have the hills with a lot of palms and a jungle vibe. And then you come into Sengigi, you can stay there. There's a lot of resorts and hotels and also restaurants, good places. There's also surf in Sengigi. And then continuing from there, if you want to visit the biggest city of Lombok, Mataram is the city. It's a typical Indonesian city, so if you want some super good street food, Mataram is the place, yeah? Indonesian street food. But after that, go down to Kuta, South Lombok, Kuta Mandalika. It's a little surf town basically, and now a MotoGP, that's the place where you find the circuit for MotoGP and Superbike, and who knows, Formula 1 in the future. Yeah. There you have a lot of options in restaurant, coffee places, accommodations, yeah. And I would say it's a nice place to stay a couple of days. When you visit South Lombok and Kuta, I will recommend you to visit beaches. You have a lot of beautiful beaches, and if you want to and go a little bit off-road, you will find secret beaches or lonely beaches without any people. But the most popular ones and beautiful ones is Tanjungan and Selong Belanak. I will also, when you're visiting Kuta Lombok, I will also do some surfing. There's a lot of great surf spots on the south coast for every level. One of the most popular, and it's starting to be a little bit too crowded, but that's Gropok Bay. You have 4 surfing spots, actually 5, in Gropok Bay, and there's basically always waves there. So that's a good place to go. And if you're more experienced, you can go to Maui or on the southwest coast to Desert Point, but that's 2 hours drive from Kuta Lombok. And a little extra tip here when you're on the south coast, if you want to drive and see beautiful nature, I would recommend you to go to Belongas. That is like driving on the south coast towards the west, and you will find this road, and it's so beautiful. If you want to have it for sunrise, leave Kuta between 4:30 and 5, and then you will get beautiful sunrise in that area. For sunset, I don't want to recommend it because then you have to drive home in pitch black. Probably not the best place to be driving around when it's pitch black. So yeah, it's a place to go in the morning or daytime, but it's so beautiful, and you will find so many secret spots or like empty spots and empty beaches on that way also. So it's a beautiful drive. For some other tips, when you're south, you can do paragliding. There's also possible to go to the Pink Beach, do snorkeling. There's a lot of small trips you can do around in that area. I will also, like a bonus in the end here, throw in a little teaser for the island next to Lombok, which is Sumbawa. There you can do snorkeling with whale sharks, which is amazing. So that is the tips I have for you today on Lombok. It's a beautiful island, and it's an island, I would say. There's so much more than I mentioned in this island, and there's still so much to explore on this island. So a great thing to do on Lombok is just to jump on the bike and drive and just follow the road till you find a dead end, and you will find some beautiful things. Thank you so much for watching. I will be very glad if you hit a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.